working really hard on increasing our female judges at the shows and stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm going to embarrass you here because I have to do it. Because, well, Tyler brought her to our border clash, and if you know where Tyler started, because of his grandfather, he test judged probably, seriously, more than any other judge in the country, all through college. And so when he brings Etila to border clash last year for the first time, he said to me about, well, she has to test judge. And we got through about 3 classes, and I leaned over to him and I said, she's done. She's got it. Because she just had an eye, but I also think I can say it was a lot different than you thought it was going to be. You thought judging was going to be really easy, and especially when you come from being an athlete to being a judge, which obviously, because we have IFBB Pro Figure here, we have IFBB Pro Figure here, we have IFBB Pro Figure / Bikini here. So they've all been athletes. They all know how much time, effort, fighting the economic strain sometimes on, on your, relationships, your family and stuff, that to get to that stage, and it's not easy to do. You would think that, well, it doesn't matter how the judging turns out and stuff, but I'm telling you, when you go from being an athlete to being a judge, it is a lot more stressful than you ever thought it was going to be. But I'm going to let them just talk about becoming an NPC judge.
Guys, why I got into judging. Unlike a lot of you guys here, I don't have ties to the industry other than being a competitor. So about 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, took a break from the sport due to injury, needed to recover a little bit, and I thought, oh my gosh, if I can't compete anymore, I'm going to miss this. What is my connection to this industry if I don't get involved in some other way? So I have a full-time job. I'm in corporate America. I work in technology. Judging is my way to stay involved in something I love. It's also my way to give back. As an athlete, I was of course passionate about getting on stage and competing and remembering how much work it took. Now being on the other side of the table, I'm passionate about giving a fair experience to you guys. I was never a top pro. I made it to the pro ranks. I never won a pro show. I never went to the Olympia, but I felt like if I could look at what's on stage and understand what the judges were looking for, I was happy with it. So I wanted to get into judging to give you guys the kind of experience that I appreciated as an athlete, and I also thought, you know what, I spent over 10 years competing. What is my legacy in this sport? I'm not some superstar athlete that people are going to remember for my titles, but I really gave everything I could to it. What can I give back to you guys as people? That's what matters the most to me, and I remember being judged by Sandy, and the most comforting and the most encouraging experience for me was getting on stage in front of her, having her smile at me, and having her, I immediately, calmed down. I felt like my experience was better, and if I can give you guys any of that, I feel like my time in the industry was worth it. This is my way to give back to you.
And to me, that is something that she brought to the table. 40 plus years in the industry, I don't know, till this day I question, full-time nurse, working the ICU, and yet managing everything for the women's divisions for the national office, and being able to, to do all that for me is just so remarkable, and to be able to work alongside someone like that, I just feel like I am being fed so much goodness. My spirit is just so alive. And that is what I want to tell you guys, that how important it is to be grateful. To be able to be a member of the best organization in the world, the best bodybuilding organization, and what it gives back to us. What I look at is, I know Sandy mentioned so many opportunities that people have had. I myself, I'm a businesswoman at heart, and for me it kind of happened a little backwards, if I may say. I was working in a business where that particular business was a big sponsor of a local bodybuilding show, an NPC show. And I got to helping them put on that show. And through that, when I moved to a different city, I asked if I could have the rights to a bodybuilding show. I did have to wait a little bit, but I'm so glad I was able to wait, because during that time that I had to wait, I went to as many shows as I could to learn as much as I could so that I could make sure that I was going to put on a really good show for the athletes, because that's what it's about, giving back. My goal was to give back, because what it gave me, it actually saved me, and I won't even get into that. That's a totally different, that's another story.
Actually, they say it so beautiful, I don't know what to say anymore. Say, I want you to explain me to do that pose, or what I need to do to be better on stage. And then I feel like I'm helping somebody to be better on stage. I'm helping the business, I help the bodybuilding grow, I help you guys be better and get this first place at the Olympia. This actually makes me feel so good. When I look to her, and she actually, if you see, she give herself everything. She put everything there and said, like, I need to do my best, and that's why I really know that she does, because she loves it. And that's what I'm saying, like, if I do 10% of what she does, I'm good. You know? I'm just so happy I'm so happy to be here on these girls. And I always learn a little bit more. I always have so much fun with them. And when I'm here saying, girls, I want you to grow, because actually that's what our job is. We want to see you guys on the top. And when we give you the feedback, you take the feedback with love and say, yes, I'm going to work on that. Because listen, we see you guys and we don't forget the faces. So if you are on stage and actually probably didn't do so well, but you come back and did your best, be like, oh my gosh, these girls, it's amazing now.